the Crescent City series.
Is this one
It
of those
follows on
dragon porn ones again that you told me about
no,
last
no,
time?
no, no, no. I've got the third of the Dragon Porn one. I've just got that this week, so that's the reason why Ellie wants me to finish this book, so I can read it and then she can read it. But the best thing of it is that so her other two series are very different from this one because they are very fantasy based,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Whereas this one is fantasy sci-fi based. So suddenly, imagine taking all your stereotypical D&D, right? Imagine taking the world D&D,
Yeah.
but then advancing by a couple of thousand years, so they've got phones and technology, and it's just weird.
It kind of reminds me of like 40K. Like it goes from like fantasy to 40K where they've just kind of gone,
yeah,
you're the space dwarves, get that out.
no, but they're still doing magic. There is still magic, and in fact, the one thing because they hint about there's this massive war going on with the humans on a different continent, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, and you think it's going to be a bit unusual, but then like halfway through the book, you find out that you see it cuts to one of the newscasts as she's watching it on TV. And it's a newscast as we see, and as it mentions that they see all the humans' mech suits are going up against the Vignette. I was like, whoa, where's that? I want to go to that book. Which books do I have to read about the war? If they got
What the?
mech suits, I want to read that shit. Sign me
It's
up.
so random. It's so fucking
yeah.
random.
But I don't know if I would recommend. This has got a lot of things. If you've read the other books of her other series, there's lots of little drops to things in this. So it's kind of, I don't know if you could say, or you could start off on this series without starting off on the other series. But anyway.
Anyway.
Well, anyway.
Welcome to Jordan's book club.
Welcome to Jordan's book club. So anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Dorks. We're at episode 3 of season 4. And as you can tell, I've had a really busy week. I've actually had a mega week with work this week, so I've had enough. But yesterday, I went on a bit of trip up to Auckland, and I got myself a small can.
Wow, what the hell?
One of my favourite beer companies.
What does it say? What's the top word? I can't...
So, Shirley's. So...
Oh, no, the humorously. Okay, I couldn't see that because some of the...
humorously sized beverage can. So, obviously, if we're from most distilleries and stuff that if you want to take away beer, you normally get like a growler or a glass bottle or something like that.
Yeah.
They had these, which is called crowlers. So, a canned growler.
Far out. Cool. That is enormous.
It's a full litre.
So it's like, mate, you need to get a stein.
I have got a stein, but I've got over a wooden one. Sort of thing.
Oh, you got to drink it out of the wooden stein.
No, I need to re-oil it, sort of thing, because I haven't oiled it.
I must say though, I was editing last night. I was editing last week's podcast, and I'm just like, I honestly think we recorded, and within 20 minutes of us recording, it was already old news, and TikTok was back on.
Yeah. Oh no, trust me. That before we get to the main topic of today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, please do make sure you like, follow, subscribe. You can follow us so you can see our beautiful faces on Spotify as well as YouTube. Blah 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 blah. Right. Before we get to discussing the main topic of today's episode, which is going to be Creature Commandos.
Oh, you did actually watch it?
Oh my god, we gotta talk. But anyway, right. But before we even get to that, let's discuss firstly the TikTok ban, which is possibly the most hilarious thing that I ever saw, like, playing out. Because of course, us being on the time zone that we were on, we got to see it happen in real time.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire day. Like, I was logging on that morning, and people are talking, and people are like, oh, my list has gone dark of all the American content creators, and blah blah blah. And then suddenly, like by lunchtime, they're all back. It was fascinating. So. Apparently, one of the executive orders signed in by Donald Trump,
which there was about 30 or 40 or something.
We're going to discuss the highly awaited the highly awaited second season of America, as I'm calling it.
Yeah,
the season 2 was kicked off royally, but we'll discuss that as well in a bit. But one of the executive orders was he pushed back the ban for, I think it was 75 days.
Yeah, something like that.
And He's said that as long as I think the one part of the deal is that he's saying that 50% of the company now has to be owned by an American corporation.
Yeah.
So whether that's going to happen,
But that being said, though, I've seen that video pop up 1,000 times of it was the top 5 things that was said, like, where is Singapore? Is that in Western Europe? I've never heard of a country called Singapore. There's the one about, if my headphones are connected, can TikTok read into my brain? I think that was number 5. There was the, are you ever part of China? No, I'm Singaporean, which obviously had a massive war against China to keep their sovereignty. And he kept asking it like 7 times. The other one was, if I download the Wi-Fi app, can it get access to my Wi-Fi? And the guy's like, I'm not entirely sure I know how to answer this because I'm not sure if it's right because you need the internet to go on Thingo. So is that it? And then the last one that made number 1, which was so fantastic, was if I put my plane into airplane mode on an airplane, can it talk to the airplane? And I'm like, what? I'm like, this is what happens. Like this, you know what it reminds me of? Like, it's like mum calls me to go, can you fix my computer? What's wrong with it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you give me anything? Like it felt like that. And I saw it again today and it just made me bring so much joy. But the thing is, his wife's American and I'm pretty sure he lives in America. So literally all he has to do is,
his kids are American as well.
So literally, I mean, maybe not, because they are starting to deport people that weren't here legally, remember?
Yeah.
There's that got signed in as well, but it's just funny, man. Like, I find it funny. But then there was this guy, Brian Starr, who I follow, who's this guy out of Kentucky. He does, like, movie reviews and stuff, and he was the one that did the Debt series, where he's trying to get out of debt by selling all that stuff, the one I bought yesterday.
Yeah.
And then he's posted this video, and he's like, bye, guys, bye. And then it's like 8 hours later, and he's like...
No, okay, so that's the first thing I want to discuss about the entire thing. So obviously the build-up was happening, and one hilarious thing that was happening was they had a load of content creators were coming clean about what they've done with their TikTok career for the last 4 years. And the amount... Sorry, I'm just trying not to laugh so much. But the fact is that the majority of them who admitted that they had faked their videos in some way, shape, or form.
What do you mean by fake? What do you mean by faked it? As in, like, when they go, is this cap or not? And then he goes, and then the can squashes.
So,
and
for example, I'm trying to think. There's one where there's this girl who she became famous because people were trying to guess her job, and basically all these, and then it became viral in a sense that basically like the Dallas Cowboys were flying her out to help out at the cheerleader tryouts and stuff like that. And so, are you a cheerleader? And like, nope, no cheerleader. So she actually admitted that somebody had guessed what she did for a role, and she was going back and deleting the comment whenever they commented it.
Oh, so if they said, are you a hooker, and they just went delete that because.
Oh yeah, because it was just one of those things, but it was really funny. But that's like one of the immediate ones. There's got people who have faked, like there's this girl who does loads of mukbang videos, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she came out and admitted that she doesn't eat half the food. She edits it in a way so it looks like she has.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
And there's another one who made these weird ice cubes with like fruits and nuts and all this and stuff that you'd put into drinks. And she goes, "Yeah, I just make them. I've never actually used them."
And then what happened is, and so all these people,
the way she's edited it though, people believed it, and it's just like, but it happened across the platform with so many people. It's like, and then of course, after 12 hours, they're back online. And those people didn't know.
Oh my god, that's brutal. So now all of a sudden they've lost all their credibility on.
Yes, pretty much.
Oh my god,
it is not even. It is. Oh, it's honestly, it is possibly the funniest thing I saw.
I had a feeling it was going to come back in some way, shape, or form. Like, I didn't expect it to be off fully like that. Like, it just.
I didn't realize that they would go dark. Like, I knew that. Don't get me wrong. The way that they worded it, saying that it couldn't be supported and all that jazz, and TikTok said, "Oh well, if it's not going to be supported, we're not going to sell it up," and blah blah blah, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But the fact is that obviously, like the people were showing what it looked like, in America, and literally they logged on, and it was like, due to the American thing, you cannot access this app, and I'm like, wow, I thought they might have somehow limited the access or made it unusable per
Yeah, or
se.
you can't upload or something like that, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. I thought, they thought they might have done something like that, but it was a bit like, wow, that's a bit harsh.
and it
Sort of thing, the way
literally
they
just
did it.
blocked all as many friggin' IP
Yeah.
addresses as possible, and I was like, that's kind of impressive.
And then of course, obviously after 14 hours or whatever it was, then they're back. And I do I loved the trend that immediately started happening.
It was just
was was when people obviously it's like all the other countries of the world saying, "Oh my god, thank God they are gone. Thank God.
yeah.
Oh, they're back. Oh, hey, girl. Hey,
We missed
Jen.
you,
We missed you.
love.
Besties."
You're like, Jesus
Like,
Christ.
there's memes and everything going on, and I was just howling the entire time, just thinking, yeah, we thought we got rid of them so well, and now they're back. God damn it! Yeah.
It was so random though, because it was just like, it was literally just a cluster. Like, after seeing, if you've watched those clips of the actual, it's not really indictment, but the questions that they asked this guy, I'm like, how is these old dudes that don't even understand how an app works making a
Yeah.
decision on this? And even after he said, no, I'm Singaporean, they're just like, we don't know what
Yeah.
Singapore is, so we don't trust it. Or being like, yeah, it's, even though he's saying he's not Chinese, we're going to just get it off just in case he is Chinese. You're like,
Yes.
are you
No,
fucking retarded?
it was quite frankly stupid. The entire thing. I just couldn't believe it
Yeah.
myself.
And then I found it funny too, though, that I'm like, I almost messaged Jordan because I'm like, by the time I went to bed, I felt like, by the time I've gone to bed, even if I had done it straight after we read it and released it in that like 4 or 5 hours it took me to do it, I'm like,
Yeah.
it still would have already, it's already back online. Like, we could have shared it to you on TikTok.
We literally could have. It was ridiculous how quick of a turnaround that was. But yeah, so it's good to have you all back. Welcome back to TikTok.
Yeah, welcome American TikTok. We will make sure
It's all right.
not
We
to
didn't
share
change
it.
the locks. We didn't change the locks or anything. We swear. And, we left all your stuff where it was. We didn't touch nothing. We promise.
Yeah, and that being said, we're still not going to share anything on TikTok, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Oh God, yeah, we know. We'll get round to it, back onto it at some point. But yeah.
It's
But anyway,
just,
so of course, so TikTok's back, which is great. We're very happy. But not only that, we was inauguration day for America Season 2 with Donald Trump, The Revenge of the Trump, and yeah, shall we say delusional was some of his things that he did. Wow, some of his executive orders he signed in are hilarious.
Yeah.
to a lot of degree.
But what's funny too, though, is that, have you noticed too, though, that very, very rarely do you hear about presidents signing executive orders?
Yeah.
But then he does. And the whole reason why is because he can hold up the executive order, go, look, I've done something. And people are like,
Yeah.
oh my God, look, he's actually doing something where Biden's not. I was like, yeah, but that's because Biden's trying to do it into law by going through the Senate and the House and stuff. Because you do know that he can sign an executive order. And then the first thing the House can do is just be like, no. And get rid of it. Like, it's literally the funniest thing. It kind of just reminds me of this person that said, look at me, I've got 1,000 viewers, and then does nothing. To the person that actually shares like actual hints and tricks and gets there, or they buy their viewership. It's just the most random.
Honestly, like, it was one of these things of I couldn't believe, like, some of the executive orders are can be put into effect. Like, I know the pardons one, so he pardoned everyone who was involved in the January 6th riots.
Did you also notice too, though, there was a story that came out of that. There was a grandmother who's
refused it.
Who refused it because she said, actually, no, I fucked up. I did wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Yeah, the fact that one of them's not told the line speaks volumes on that.
Did you see the other guy they pardoned? So the other guy they pardoned was... what's his name? He was a Bitcoin dude where he set up like this Bitcoin sort of like... almost like an eBay where you could only buy Bitcoin. You weren't allowed to put stolen goods. You weren't allowed to put weapons or drugs or anything that was like that. But it was done to bypass the government. Yeah. It's like Richard something. Oh, what's that guy? I'm gonna Google it.
Okay.
And what's his name? Oh, it's his name, Ross. I'm gonna say it's Silk Road was the name of the company. And the idea was like obviously named after the Asian Silk Road where they would go down and they would trade silks and her things. Ross Ulbricht, I'm going to say Ulbricht. So he set up this thing. It ended up doing, unfortunately, some of it ended up being drug stuff that he was trying to keep out of there. But because it got so popular, you were able to use Bitcoin to transcribe past all the governments and stuff. It was proof that it actually showed that Bitcoin could actually be a currency that we use in the future, and that it was that. And Trump said that the guy was obviously quite smart with the way he did it. He did it in a way to try to do it right. Obviously, it got out of control, but he pardoned him. But this guy, which blows my mind, so, for example, drug dealers. So cartel guys that have been caught that they could only think that were drug dealing got like 10 years. This guy got 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
Yeah, Jesus, man.
And this was in like 2006. So he actually pardoned this guy, which I'm like, the guy's like a non-offender. He was just a software engineer that got really into Bitcoin and thought that this could be cool and we could actually do some things from it. So he's actually pardoned him as well, which, to be fair, I'm not really that much of against, because I do feel like in that case, I feel like the government was like, oh, nah, this isn't good because because I feel like these guys are taking the piss or whatever he thought. And I'm like, he proved that we don't longer need banks or money in the scheme of things. Unfortunately, yes, it didn't help that there was a whole heap of drugs behind it, but hey.
Yeah.
That wasn't on him. He was just running a site like eBay. So
yeah. No, I get that. But yeah, so it's the fact is that on his initial day signing, he signed 26 orders.
Yeah, and it was about 30, yeah.
Yeah, he's so far has done 33 executive orders as of this end of this week. But yeah, some of it is just saying the fact that obviously like he wants to get rid of FEMA, who manage all the national disasters that happen across the United States,
which is kind of funny while California burns.
Yes. Oh well, no. Apparently, he got into it with the mayor of LA.
Yeah, I know.
About her response to that, and obviously and everything else, which is interesting. But obviously it's just like restoring freedom of speech. He's only allowing 2 genders now. It's just like, wow, he's gone a bit mad on it all, sort of thing. So I don't.
There was another one that I thought was quite funny, where it was like the 2 gender one. I think is horrible. Like I'm like, it's not as simple as that anymore. And I get that there are people that are like, oh, well, they're just mentally ill. No, like, just don't be a dick. Like, it's no skin off your nose. It doesn't matter all that much, but for some reason people seem to buy way too much into it. But there's another one that I thought that was quite funny, and I can't remember what it was. I was reading up on it, and it was just like, I remember reading it and just making me chuckle, and I'm like, oh, it's going to hurt me because I'm not going to remember. But it was all kinds of ridiculous.
Well, the fact the one order I find really funny is the fact that it's the Restoring Names That Honor American Greatness Act.
Oh, does that mean that we're getting back a whole heap of the Southern generals that wanted slavery?
No, essentially it allows them, and these are the exact words, it directs the reinstatement of the name Mount McKinley to the highest peak in North America, reversing the 2015 decision to rename it Denali, obviously because of the original nativeness.
Yeah.
It also claims to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
I heard that. That one made me. That was
I'll
one.
tell you what's really funny, on the other side of that Gulf, on the other bit of it, the Mexicans own the Gulf of California. I've got a feeling about what might be happening in retaliation.
Oh my god, that would be the greatest thing ever. Going, all right, cool, bro. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah. But obviously, they want to get, like, they're demanding obviously things like they want the Panama Canal, they want Greenland and everything else.
Have you seen that though? The Prime Minister of it was either the Prime Minister of Greenland or one of the speakers of Greenland came out and pretty much told him to fuck off.
He didn't as much say it. He said it.
Yeah, we're not. That's a direct quote.
Fuck off.
It's been part of Denmark for this, that, and the other, and he pretty much told him to fuck off. And it's not like we're not saying this as he kind of told him. This is word for word.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen that the EO to change Denali back to Mount McKinley, which I'm just like, really, guys, like, what the hell? But there's so many really dumb ones, and I'm just like, oh my god.
There are. That's the problem. The problem is that there was a list of so many that he was signing, and it was just like, what? And he was just obviously he wants to withdraw the foreign aid. He wants to get out of the Paris Peace Accords.
Yeah,
He
so
wants to,
he's already got effective immediately. He's out of the Paris Peace Accord, out of the World Health Organization. That one was a big one as well. I was like, wow, this is like the biggest health thing ever, and you're just like, no, goodbye. I was like,
Also, the executive order in relation to not allowing if you're born in America to parents of illegal immigrants, then you cannot have an American status. As you're not allowed to have American status. Now, I immediately thought that, and I was like, well, hang on a minute. So, say, for example, that's happened.
yep.
And you've been born, and your parents aren't documented. You're now no longer going to be American. Are you allowed to be your parents' citizenship because you weren't born in the country?
Well, technically, you won't hold citizenship. That's a problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was kind of thinking, but logically, you can't kick them out if there is no residence for citizenship at all. If they do not come from, So I thought that was an interesting one. I kind of was wrapping my head around. But apart from that, it's a bit mad. We're looking forward to seeing what the rest of season 2 follows up with. But yeah, he's obviously declared there's an energy crisis and everything else. He's obviously promoting. Oh, the one thing I'm going to be interested in actually is the declassification of the assassination of JFK, Robert FK, and Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yes,
that's interesting. That being released.
Well, the other one that was also weird is that he's like, I'm happy to give up like government land and this, that, and the other to get power. So he's just like, I refuse to buy from Canada now. He's told Canada to nick off, and Canada's just kind of gone like, yeah, cool, bro. You don't have enough power to do it, but cool. And then he's come back and just gone, no, you've got so what's happening is we're going to use public land, offshore drilling, all this stuff that in theory is like, yeah, like I'm like, how does that work? Like, I don't know.
Well, someone brought. I mean, because obviously the last couple of days I've seen lots of TikToks where it's people bringing in, like MAGA supporters ringing in to this guy who's obviously very well versed with knowledge and law and everything else.
Yeah,
and they're trying to crack his arguments essentially. So the MAGAs are trying to go, "We've got you." But every time they bring up a point, he shoots them down. And a couple of the ones he's done was, one of them was talking about the tariff. So obviously he's saying, right, from now on, any imported goods are going to have a 25% tariff of the countries are going to be paying for it. And literally this guy was like, right, okay, that's not how tariffs work. And I'm going to explain it to you in a way.
Yeah, I know.
And the fact is which was hilarious.
How is this dude a businessman though and doesn't understand that, yeah, true, that person will pay the tariff, but they're just going to pass the costs on to you.
Honestly, it was shocking how blindly they've been led down the garden path on that one, and they seem to still don't believe. No. They don't worry. Donald Trump's going to make countries pay. No countries are going to. The last time that happened, the Great Recession happened in America.
But like that's been true though. Like you're like, okay, cool. I can't sell to America. I'll just go to X. Or that's cool, but our price is now double. And all of a sudden, because of these people like Walmart and Canadian Tire and all these people that are going to pay this money because they need these items, all their prices are going up. And what are they going to do? Pass it on to consumers. Yes, like the other one that was weird.
Exactly what every major company has said, saying FYI, all our products we do buy abroad, we are not shouldering it. It goes on to you.
Yeah, and the other one that I found really weird being that, what's his name? Adolf Elon is one of his mates.
Let's not get started on that, shall we? Yeah,
is he's revoking the electric vehicle targets.
Yes.
And I'm just like, but your mate is doing all the electric vehicles. He's also reclassifying federal employees to make them easier to fire, which...
Yeah.
That's the random one. Declaring a national border emergency where he's sending army and military and stuff down to the border to keep Mexicans from crossing. I was like, bro, you already built a wall. He's like, yeah, but my wall doesn't keep them out because I made it really cheap because I realized it's going to cost too much and they can just get angle grinders and cut through it.
Yeah.
So because you built it too cheaply, now you're going to send military, the National Guard and stuff there. You're like, What the hell?
Honestly, he's signed some things into effect. Not let's not even begin the fact that he's made all hail Elon. What is it? He runs the Department of Government Efficiency or the Department of Doge. It's
Yeah.
like, God forbid, no. It's like,
And
seriously.
pretty much what he's doing is he's using him to cut costs so that he can obviously make this stuff because that's what he did at Twitter. I was like, yeah, but at Twitter, the whole site almost went down because he got rid of way too many servers and way too many people
Yeah.
governing him. And then it just became this free for all. So I'm like,
Well, it was the free pay thing, wasn't it? Really? So, oh, you want your blue check? You got to pay $10 a month, and you can have your blue check.
yeah, I know. But then all the services, all the issues have gone down. You're like, really, mate? Like, you've kind
Yeah.
of screwed the pooch, and then you're like, now you've got to pay for the thingo. But yeah, I must say, it's going to be one to watch. And I mean, like, all the power to him. Like, I know that he's also paused all issues around healthcare until JFK Jr. or whatever his name is, one of the Kennedy, the kind of like the slow black sheep of the family, is able to be sworn in, but that also could take several months. So which means that all these health bills and all these things are just going to stop for months on end. But then he's also written an executive order to get him to be pushed through straight away. I'm like, but
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of months, if we don't start seeing like an exodus of Americans leaving America,
yeah,
sort of to start taking up residence elsewhere, because it wouldn't shock me at all, realistically, because
Yeah.
it's given what they've done, it makes sense, sort of thing, because to be I can't even be a hypocrite because I did it. Britain went through Brexit and literally we ran. We did. We were
Yeah.
like, it's like, look, you know what? Let's take the jump, and we did. We jumped across the pond, and we landed better for it. Thank God, But it was a risk. But I tell you what, it was a good risk to take at the time, sort of thing.
I don't understand the UK where they thought Brexit was a great idea, and it is funny too that when you see who voted, and you've got London, no, don't leave Brexit because that helps with so much stuff. The rest of London went, yeah, let's get out of there, and they're like, do you know what you're doing? And then they're like, oh, bro, our beer's gone up, it's imported. Well, wine's gone up, it's imported. Our veggies are everything that you get. 90% of your food is imported. Like that's the one thing that shocked me when I was in the UK is when it said like most beef said product of Argentina, product of Spain, product of this, veggies coming from product of Zimbabwe, product of this. And I'm like, have you guys got nothing that you actually make here? And they're like, no, we get everything from other things because it's cheaper.
That's the thing but that's the thing is that Britain does produce good fruit, good vegetables all the time, but we can't. They couldn't compete with the current market, so they used to send them abroad, sort of thing.
And then it was funny, and then it was like, oh, why is all our stuff gone up? And I'm like, because you're paying massive import tax. But weren't we importing it before? I'm like, yeah, but you weren't. You have to import it through Europe now. They're like, well, we can just fly it in. You're like, yeah, but where is it stopping? Is it going straight from Zimbabwe to London? No.
No, honestly, it was. That's the reason why we jumped. So honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if I start seeing American. If suddenly American numbers start shooting, it'll be hilarious.
But yeah, no, but I must say,
I guarantee you, the people who will believe in the country as well will be better off for it. They'll move to countries with better perks and better benefits and everything else.
Yeah,
and they'll be fine.
I feel horrible though because there are so many people that obviously voted for him because he promised them all this stuff like lowering the energy bill, lowering all this. Because he's like, if we make it in-house, it's no longer going to be as rich as what we are paying for Canada and stuff. But I'm like, you've got a deal to pay like almost cost price in Canada. Like Canada's not making heaps of money off that. They're just supplying you a lot of it. But I'm like, if you make it, so you've got to, not only do you have to obviously do all this, but you've got to set it all up. Like, you've got to set up all the infrastructure. You've got to set up all this thing. How are you going to do that when you don't do it? Like, you do realize that you're going to hemorrhage money to do all this. And it might not even be done in the 4 years that...
Well, that's one of the new executive... In fact, one of the senators has proposed to the Senate about an amendment to the Constitution that allows a president are allowed to serve a third term, providing that they're not served consecutively. So essentially, because Donald Trump was kicked out for two terms, he's allowed to get potentially one extra one.
Well, fingers crossed Obama then comes back and does a third term.
But that's the thing. Is literally, I immediately thought that myself. I was like, well, hang on. If you do that, that actively opens it up for all the other former presidents to go, screw
That
it, I'll throw my hat back in the ring.
yeah.
And Obama will landslide it, likely, sort
Yeah.
of thing, immediately, sort of thing. He's still popular.
I
Still
still find it. I
massively
still
popular.
find it funny that Americans are like still unwilling to vote in a woman president. Like
Oh,
it.
don't get me started on them. God, where to begin with them? It is hilarious with them. I'll tell you that. But yeah. So anyway, right. I think that's enough politics.
Yes.
Let's have a chat regarding the Creature Commandos because that was so good. Right.
Yes.
So I'll tell you now. I binge watched it in a day.
Yeah. I think I watched.
You
I
sent
think
it
I
to me.
watched it in. I think I watched the first 6 episodes because I downloaded them all, and I'm like, I've been hanging
Yep.
to watch it, and then eventually I
Yep.
watched the last two because they came out a little bit later, so I
Yep.
was waiting for them. But yeah. So I obviously um have been talking about this for a while because
Mm.
I watched it, and this is obviously James Gunn's first step into DC that
Yes.
didn't
Yep.
have films already in the process. Like, obviously, people are going to say, oh, but he took over and then there was Blue Beetle and stuff. Yeah, but they weren't his. They were already in production.
No.
And they were just too
Yep.
far ahead for him to go, let's stop that.
Mm. No, I'll tell you now. What one thing is, I think Marvel have lost out massively by losing James Gunn. Not that they couldn't maybe get him back, but there'll be some clause between they wouldn't be allowed to work for either
Yeah.
or something like that. So
But
we
that
already
being
know.
said, I do think this was a smart choice because one thing about DC is DC have always made the most amazing animated films.
Yeah, as
Like,
well, especially the last, I would say easily hands down the last 6 years, the DC animation universe has been on form.
the
It's been
Constantines, the
yes,
dark ones,
yeah,
all these ones they've
yeah,
made have been amazing. So to start with this, I'm like, is a great idea. And then
yeah.
obviously after the success of obviously the Harley Quinn movie, the Harley Quinn cartoon series starring the
Mhm.
Big Bang Theories girl as Harley, and it's very much an adult cartoon. Obviously, there's
Mhm.
blood, there's gore, but not to this level. Like, I don't know
No,
what this. I don't know what this is rated, but this is this is. There's a lot of blood and guts to this. So this isn't
actually, I don't
something
know what
you
it is.
sit down
What
and
is it rate?
watch. Yeah, this isn't something you sit down and watch with little Timmy, the little 8-year-old, because oh my
No,
god,
absolutely
no.
not. I'm trying to think. It is no, I can't find
Because it's on a
the
streaming service, it
rating.
may be unrated.
Yeah, I don't think it is rated like rated. That's the thing. I would say personally, this is well, it would be 18 given the themes. Maybe PG-16,
No,
maybe.
according
But
to
I
this, it
think
says that it's TVMA, which means that it's the one
TV
that's 15
mature.
plus, which means it's the one above R. It says, which
Yeah.
means it's intended for things not sure. This rating is similar in some countries to R rating. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. All right. So it is R rated. Okay. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
make sense given
So
the
it's a
theme.
similar adult orientation to Rick and Morty. I don't think it's
Yeah.
Rick and Morty. Harley Quinn and the
Mm.
Invincibles.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I want, obviously, so James Gunn is great. One thing that has been said, and it has been said by James Gunn, he says that if a live action version was ever to be made, film or TV series or anything like that, the same actors have already agreed to sign on as their live
Oh, that'd be
action character.
amazing.
So I'm already happy. Already happy because
Yes.
James Gunn's thought about this. He's gone, right. Because the fact that, I mean, to be fair, Professor Phosphorus, Alan Tudyk, is just awesome
The,
in
the the
this.
the man the man that just literally makes Disney more money than anything. Like,
Yes.
for anybody that doesn't know, is he's been in almost every single. I think it's every single Disney film for about the last like 10 or 12 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like his good luck charm. Like, to take it so much is there was only one non-Polynesian or non South Pacific Islander
Mm.
that was in the Moana movies, and it was him. And he played the
Yeah.
chicken because
Yeah, the chicken.
they needed to find a role for him. Like,
Yeah.
it is ridiculous, but I must say I absolutely love this man. I loved him in Firefly, and then he's just got better. And that, I mean, obviously David Harper as Frankenstein, which comes in about halfway through the series,
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. The
Yeah.
Bride,
Yeah. The Bride. All right. Indira Varma. Oh my God. She plays it off so good. like really good. I like the way she sort of has it all done. The one thing I actually love about this series is that it's not kind of like watching one of the random standalone movies where they've got to give you all the backstory in the you got your 3 acts. This one, it's like you get a character arc on each episode, and
Yeah.
then your last couple of episodes is right now we're having the movie, sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
it
the
is really
one
well
cool thing.
done. And unlike with some other ones where you kind of get this character and you're like, this bit's all going to be all about them, and it doesn't feel like it fits. This one is beautifully blended where they actually go, okay, we're going to take, say, Nina.
Yeah,
Obviously, our little fish girl, we get a bit of background to her. But then what it also does is it starts to play into the reason why she acts a certain way in a particular moment. And it
yeah.
just gives you this understanding of the characters that is handled so beautifully and so well. And obviously, there is blood and guts and there is some fighting. Obviously, G.I. Robot is hilarious,
Oh god, G.I. Robot's so good.
who's played by
The
obviously
fact that it's
Sean Gunn.
Sean Gunn as well, yes. The fact that Sean Gunn has 2 roles in this entire movie, which is obviously he's still his character from Weasel, he's still his character Weasel,
Yeah.
sort of thing, which is good. But he also gets to be G.I. Robot. And G.I. Robot's just so funny.
So, if for anybody that hasn't seen it, GI Robot is obviously a GI that was set up to fight the Nazis. But because he's obviously AI, but because he's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, all he cares about is because his programming is kill Nazis. That's all he does. So the problem is too, though, is whenever anybody speaks ill or does that, all of a sudden his wrists go back, he pulls guns, and he's like, "Are those guys Nazis?" And he's ready to kill them in a heartbeat. And that scene where obviously he does, then where they eventually say, "Yeah, they are Nazis," and he gets to shoot all of them. Absolutely
He's
brilliant.
smiling.
His backstory is so good. He's such a good character.
Yeah, honestly the way his backstory goes, because you're like, oh, so because I knew that he obviously done something to land himself in the slammer, but then you find out that not only does he kill people, but you find out that he kills a massive group of neo Nazis in America.
Yes.
And it's like wow, okay, that's how we're going.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
right.
they almost like give him a home.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's just like, and then all of a
Which you
sudden
didn't see
they
coming.
invite him to a group of friends. And then all of a sudden
Because the scene where he's being interviewed, so it's like in the 50s or whatever it is, and he's being interviewed on a TV show on a live action. I was like, oh, here we go. This is what's going to happen. We know it's going to happen now, because especially as you can see, it's happening with his programs. Like, are these people Nazis? And he's like, oh god, here we go. And no, it wasn't that. I was like, damn it.
because I actually thought that's what it was. I thought he was going to go crazy on that TV show and kill the audience, because obviously he didn't know. But no, it's really well done. And yeah, the fact is that he gets given a house kind of thing, so he's living like a normal person, and he makes friends with this guy, and he's like, oh, why don't you come with us? You'd be great. And then obviously they go there, and obviously it's a Nazi group, and obviously he sees it, and then he just destroys all these people, and it's just hilarious. And it's so funny too, because you're like, bro, it's his programming. Like, how is he to
It's his
know?
programming. They took it. The guy took him. It's like, God forbid.
But it's just,
But yeah. But honestly, my only other favorite character was definitely David Harbour's Frankenstein.
yeah.
He cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, man. Jeez.
I loved it. I must say though, I do like that they got Frank Gallo to play, or Frank Grillo to play Rick Flag Senior.
Oh, Rick Flag Senior, yes.
I love him as an actor and have, but he's always seems to be in those B-rated action films. I'm like, he's such a good actor, and now you're starting to see him do a few more things. Like, obviously, he got that one where he just keeps repeating time. He got that one where he's now in Werewolves, that is like a little independent one that's kind of going crazy. But no, I still think one of my favorite ones, obviously, Phosphorus is just amazing. And like, you've probably, if you guys have seen the trailer, you see the trailer where he's giving the double bird as his tank drives through him, and the tank just drives through him,
The tank
and then
doesn't
his
drive
middle.
through him. He walks through the tank.
Oh, was it? I thought the tank drives towards him or whatever, and then he's got the middle bird, and obviously the two tank drivers are there, and you can just see his middle fingers just burn right through these guys, and you're just like, oh my god. And I must say, I as much as I think The Bride is epic, all these different characters, I had a soft spot for Nina.
I did,
and it broke my heart.
Yeah.
It broke my heart.
You have no. I totally agree with you. It was heart wrenching what happened with that.
Yeah.
I refuse to give spoilers on this show regarding that. That needs to be watched and to be understood.
Yeah, but it was so hard to watch. You're just like, damn it. But I must
Yeah.
say, and then obviously at the end, they do tie in her new team, or this the bride comes in with a team that obviously this with some new
Mm.
people involved, and I must say it has been done so well, and I get that this is very much a let's see how it goes kind of thing, but
Definitely.
it
Yeah.
has been done in a way that is just absolutely brilliant, and if you guys haven't watched it, you really need to, because there is just something special about it. James Gunn has gone above and beyond, and I do feel like if Superman's like this, and seeing one thing I have
Mm.
liked about Superman when you see the trailer so far is that he's not this all powerful being that is just going to murder everybody. No one can touch him, this, that, and the other. He seems
Yeah.
to actually have given him somewhat of a backstory that he's not this all powerful, that he can still be hurt and different stuff, which is
Yeah.
something that I think we were missing in the original DC. With the original DC, if you've watched any of our last episodes, you know that I'm a bit. When it comes to it, it just feels like it's a bit blah because they're all powerful. Everyone they go up against, they destroy really easily. Like it just feels like there's no real challenge. So it
Well,
was
yeah,
nice.
I've always had my big problem with Superman is that he's all powerful and all that jazz, and no one's ever. That's the one problem I have with the character flaw. Not specifically anyone who's played him. It's the fact is there's a character flaw that his only two weaknesses is green kryptonite and magic. It's like, come on. It's like
Yeah,
could have stuck anything else in there. Just anything. Just anything.
yeah.
Just some other minor obscure thing, that would have worked.
100%. And I
But
feel
yeah.
like that was the biggest problem with the movies is that they were these all powerful people to the point where it was just painful how.
Oh, I'll tell you what I've just done. I shouldn't have done this, but I've just done it. I've clicked through to the Superman on IMDb for the new Superman movie, and Frank Grillo is playing Rick Flag Sr. in it.
Oh,
Yes, I can see it listed right here. Frank Grillo, Rick Flag Sr. It's even got Alan Tudyk listed, but he doesn't have a character name.
oh God. How
Oh, please, please.
I
Because
can't imagine we get Phosphorus, but it's
oh
just
no, could you? But even they might get the voice over. It might be the voice sort
yeah.
of thing of Phosphorus, maybe or something like that. But yeah, just seeing Frank Grillo in there, that's going to be good because that ties into the cartoon sort of thing. So I think James Gunn's doing it the right way by going, you know what, we need to start piecemeal, start tying it up and everything else.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
which is
It's
good.
gonna be
And I must say, like if and even if you're on the fence about this one, I do recommend watching it. It is really good, and I think it's going to give a big vibe. Like this feels like it could be a mixture of obviously Suicide Squad, which they're going after, mixed with Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's these anti-heroes that are a bit uncouth. The voice acting in it is absolutely brilliant. The storyline, it's weird because when you watch the original one, they beat it, you're like done, and then you're kind of like now where they're going because it did feel like they kind of like did what they needed to, and then it's just like and it's done. You're like, but where's it going from
Yeah.
here? And then obviously the twist obviously helps a lot. Always good to see Clayface in there. Love a little bit of Clayface.
Hey, nothing wrong. Clayface is a very good bad guy, and I quite like him, sort of thing. It was just a bit weird how they introduced him. That was like, he was like, okay, that makes sense. All right, okay, but the twist at the end of that on the last episode was really good as well, sort of thing. So, but you had to definitely have seen the Clayface episode to get to
Yeah,
there.
100%.
This wouldn't have made sense. But yeah, but I have to say one thing I saw this week that looked so cool. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. Have you seen the new trailer? Have you seen the trailer for How to Train Your Dragon, the live action movie?
Oh no, but I've seen what's his name? I've seen obviously Gerard Butler in the full
Yep.
thing where he's heavy as shit. That one's
Yes, so
fantastic.
I tell you now, I highly recommend it. It literally, I think we're gonna get as damn close. I think we're gonna get as damn close as we can to the original movie. So I think to the original animation, I think just from that trailer alone has given me enough confidence to go, ooh,
Well, that was
yes.
one thing that I found with Disney. Obviously, some of Disney stuff like The Little Mermaid and Little Mermaid, The Beauty and the Beast didn't really get amazing like reviews, and
Yeah.
a lot of people I know just went, I get that they're making this classic thing into real wide, but it kind of falls a bit blah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
makes sense. But I think what it has done is it has opened up that other stories that may not have done as well. And this is what I think that Disney should have done, gone to some of their lesser known ones like Titan AE, like Treasure Island, Treasure Planet, like these
Sword
ones
in the
that,
Stone, still one of my favorites. Sword in the
yeah,
Stone.
making those real live actions but based exactly
Yeah.
off the cartoons are really good. But I think what it's also done is made people realize that if I've done a cartoon of this and I want to make a live action, I don't necessarily need to make it completely different. I can actually choose to do it exactly the same or as close as humanly possible.
Mm.
Let's do it. And I think with How to Make a Dragon seeing this, they're like, maybe we could. Hence why
Yeah.
obviously they've got some of the actors and different stuff. But I must say that film actually really does excite me because I do think like there's a lot in that can be done so well.
Yeah.
And I mean,
No,
especially now,
I'm
there
I'm
was
I'm very excited to see it sort of thing because
I, do,
I
I
love How to Train Your Dragon. See, I loved I've even watched the Netflix TV show
yeah.
bits ones as well. I loved all that sort of thing. So I'm actually really looking forward to this movie.
I also love that we have that guy Julian Dennison, the Kiwi guy that played Fire Fist in the
Oh, for
Deadpool.
fish legs, yeah, for fish legs.
I just find that he is such a funny actor. I've seen him in like if you've ever watched those, I think it's like the Wild Wilburys or Wild,
The Hunt for the Wilder People.
yeah,
Great
whatever it is.
movie.
He is
Fantastic.
absolutely friggin' brilliant in that, and obviously Fire Fist as well, funny as hell. So I'm like
Mm,
well excited for that, and I just want to see him in it would be great as well.
yeah.
But I must say the fact that they're doing this and they're also sticking very close to it, I must say is hella exciting. My only hope for this is that the dragons aren't too small because Jordan will lose his fucking mind because we all know that he has a hard on for his dragons and his dragons have to be a certain thing otherwise they don't
No,
meet his high dragon standards.
no, it's not that. To be fair, no. Obviously, for the majority of the dragons from the animation, they're rideable, so they're not gigantic ones. Apart from, obviously, we haven't seen anything looking like the big bad, which is the original alpha. I'm gonna call it. I can't remember what they used to call it in the first movie, but that one needs to be gigantic because that
Yeah.
was huge in comparison on the screen sort of thing. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
And yeah,
Sort of.
Jordan's probably going to have a dragon issue, so that's fine.
Yes, no, it would be fine. But anyway, right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up right there because I have to edit this episode.
I do want to leave it with one thing though. I did
Okay.
watch the new Star Trek film. So for anybody that hasn't know,
Is
Paramount
that
Section
is that the
31.
Section 30. Yeah, I saw a trailer for it the other day. I was like, "Ooh, where's that? I need to find it."
You've got a link in your Facebook.
I know I have. I've downloaded it right now.
Yeah, so obviously it is a new Star Trek film that kind of feels more like The Bad Bunch or like Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're kind of like covert ops for the Starfleet. Obviously has the amazingly talented Michelle Kwan in it. It makes me so happy. But I did watch it last night, and I wanted Jordan to watch it. So what we might do is, if Jordan watches it this week, we might do the episode on it next week. If not, it might be the week after, because we all know that Jordan's horrible at listening to me and actually watching stuff. Yet I watch.
I've got a busy weekend next week. I don't know if I'll be able to make the podcast next weekend. Sadly.
Okay, well we will
I'm
record
going
it
to
one
try.
day. We'll record it one day.
Yes, about to say I'm away up in Tauranga for the weekend. So
But there's also rumors that also Ted Lasso season 4.
I have heard I've heard rumors as well. I've heard lots of rumors.
Yes.
I'm not trying to get my hopes up. I don't want to get my hopes up.
I don't want to get my hopes up, but my hopes are pretty up. Like
I don't want my heart being broken. I can't do it. I couldn't face it.
Yes.
I couldn't face it.
I must say that was a great episode. That's one that I recommend, guys. If you only watch one podcast, go watch the Ted Lasso one. Jordan did set me to watch like 3. I think it was like 3.5 series or 3 series in like a week and a half to record this.
To do it. I said, just watch a couple of episodes to see what you think, and then next day I contact you and said, "Yeah, I'm already on. I'm nearly through season 2." And I was like,
because I thought if
watch a couple of episodes,
because I thought if I'm talking about it, I feel stupid watching like an episode. Even though every time I set a movie or an episode to watch for you, you do exactly that. But I'm like, no, I need to know what I'm talking about, so I want to watch the whole thing. And I must say, it was amazing. And if it does come out, like, my nipples are already hard just thinking about it. It's so exciting.
Nah, it's gonna be sweet. It really will be. It really will be sweet.
I don't even like right now. I like the idea of the way they're going. That I don't even mind if they don't bring Ted Lasso back, or if he's only back to kind of like in a few spots to come visit.
They will kind of need him to be in it in some shape.
Yeah.
Like there'll have to be something. I don't think you could do an entire series without him not
Yeah.
there, sort of thing. Like you definitely need him via a video call, or suddenly he's having a crisis and he wants to, and he realized his happy place was back at the
Yeah.
dog track.
That would be a cool
So
way to bring it back in. But I do think though,
yeah.
but with it, I'm in two minds because I love the original series. So I don't want them to screw it up for us. It's kind of like if you ever watch Dexter and then you watch the New Blood, where it was that season that they brought him back and they've just did it all around his son. If you haven't watched that, just fucking don't. Like, it ruins that whole Dexter experience for you. Like the 7th series of him going off and driving off into the storm. Like, finding out he survived was such a cool thing. So I know Cherish and I binge watched that series.
Yeah.
But it was such a disappointment. Like, most of it was around his son. His son was played by like this little goober of a kid. Like, he was just a knob. And it just felt like it was so forced. Like, they're trying to almost bring this new blood in to try to relive that. And it just didn't work well at all. That being said, Dexter Original Sin, where they've gone back and actually looked at the beginning of that story, oh my God, brilliant. Like they've got the same intro to the show, which makes me so happy. Obviously, just with a younger guy, Christian Slater, always amazing. But the guy they've got actually is really good, and the fact that it's still narrated by the original Dexter character, it really is something that just makes you happy. But yeah, I must say that New Blood one was shit. Don't watch that. Do yourself a favor. Get your 3.5 hours back, because it will be.
Duly noted. Right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in with us on this podcast. Please make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. Everything you do does obviously help the algorithm, blah, 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 blah. And thank you very much for joining us this week, and we will be back with you next week.
Peace.